Here's how you'll talk with God, not to God. Most people think prayer is about talking to God. You speak, you ask, you thank Him, and that's it. But what if I told you that God never meant for prayer to be one-sided? You weren't created just to talk to God. You were created to talk with Him. Because prayer was never meant to be a speech. It was meant to be a conversation. You see, most people stop too soon. They pray, pour out their hearts, say amen, and move on with their day. But what if, right after you said amen, that was the moment God was about to answer, and you missed it because you didn't stay to listen? Let's go back to the story of Samuel. In 1 Samuel 3, young Samuel was lying down in the temple when he heard a voice calling his name. He thought it was Eli the priest, but it wasn't. It happened 3 times until Eli finally realized what was going on and told Samuel, "If you hear the voice again, say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" That night changed Samuel's life forever, because he didn't just talk to God, he listened. And that's when God began to reveal His plans to him. Here's what that means for you. If you only talk to God, you'll pour out your problems. But if you talk with God, you'll start hearing solutions. Now look at Elijah in 1 Kings 19. He was hiding in a cave, scared and exhausted. God told him to step outside because he was about to pass by. There came a wind, but God was in Tehene. Then an earthquake, but God wasn't there either. Then a fire, still not God. And then came a gentle whisper. That's when Elijah knew. God speaks in stillness. You see, God's voice isn't always dramatic. It's often quiet, subtle, internal. And to hear Him, you've got to stop talking long enough to listen. Jesus Himself modeled this. Luke 5:16 says, Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. He didn't just speak to His Father. He waited for His Father's direction. Every miracle, every moment of power came from that deep, two-way connection. He said in John 5:19, "The Son can do nothing by Himself. He only does what He sees the Father doing." In other words, Jesus didn't act until He heard. So here's the challenge. When was the last time you prayed and then stayed quiet afterward? When was the last time you gave God space to respond? Because sometimes His answer isn't a voice, it's peace. Sometimes it's a verse that suddenly stands out. Sometimes it's a conviction or a gentle nudge in your spirit that says, wait or go. That's Him speaking back. Paul said in 1 Thessalonians 5:17, pray without ceasing. He didn't mean to never stop talking. He meant never stop connecting. Prayer isn't supposed to end, it's supposed to continue throughout your day. It's awareness, it's dialogue, it's walking with God, not just talking to Him for 5 minutes and leaving. Here's the bottom line. Religion teaches you to talk to God. Relationship teaches you to talk with God. One is duty, the other is intimacy. So the next time you pray, don't rush to amen. Pause, breathe, listen, ask Him, Lord, what do you want to say to me? And don't worry if you don't hear words ULL. Fill His peace, fill the space. That's His voice, too. Because when you stop treating prayer like a performance and start treating it like a partnership, you'll stop talking at God and start walking with Him. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you actually listened for God's reply? Share your experience in the comments below. And if this message spoke to your heart, like and follow for more faith stories that help you connect with God in a real, living way.